In this video, I'm going to show you my #1 scalping strategy I have ever tested on this channel. This strategy is so good that you can literally generate insane returns in the shortest amount of time. It works perfectly well on Forex, stocks and crypto, and to prove these claims, I'm going to backtest it 100 times with an initial account size set at $100, 2% risk per trade and 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio. Okay, we're going to do our backtesting on a pound-yen 5-minute chart. Now let's go ahead and add our indicators. So first, let's search for QQE mod, this one by Michael. For our second indicator, let's add whole suite by Insilico, and lastly let's add a volume oscillator to our chart. Okay, so for this system to be ready, we need to adjust these indicators. So first, let's double click on this whole suite line and change the length from 55 to 60 and length multiplier from 1 to 3. Now let's make some slight adjustments to our QQE mod. So first, we're not going to change the inputs, we're just going to get rid of this 0 level. And finally, let's make this volume oscillator a bit more visible. So for that, we're going to need to make this line a bit thicker and change the 0 line from the dash to a regular line. Okay, now our system is ready. Let's get into our trading rules. Okay, so in this strategy, we're going to be using this QQE mod as our first confirmation indicator. For our second confirmation indicator, we're going to be using this whole suite line. And for our volume indicator, we're going to be using this volume oscillator. Okay, so for a long signal to be valid, we need to have a new blue histogram appeared on our QQE mod indicator. Our whole suite line has to be colored in green and the price has to close above it. We also need to have sufficient volume in the market, so this volume oscillator has to be greater than 0%. And once we have all these three conditions met, we're going to go ahead and take a long position, set our stop loss at the recent swing low and target 1.5 times the risk. We see this trade was successful and we closed it with a nice profit. Exactly opposite rules apply for shorts, so we need to have a new bearish histogram appeared on our QQE mod indicator. Also, this whole suite line has to be colored in red and the price has to close below it. And again, our volume oscillator has to be sitting above this 0 line. We see all our indicators agree, and this is our trigger candle. So let's go ahead and take a short position, set our stop loss at the recent swing high, and set our take profit target. We see this trade was a winner and we closed it with a 3% profit. Okay, let me now give you some more examples so you have a better idea of how to trade with this system. So we see we have a valid long signal issued by our QQE mod indicator because the rest of our indicators agree. So let's go ahead and take a long trade, set our stop loss and a take profit target. Okay, we see this trade was successful, and now let's go ahead and find some more signals. Okay, so here we've got another valid long signal. We see the QQE mod just turned blue. The whole suite is colored in green, and the price is sitting above it. And we also have our volume oscillator just crossing this 0 line. So let's go ahead and take a long position. Okay, so we just got another winner and we see how well this strategy is working. So let's find one more example. Here we've got a new long signal that is not valid, and the reason this signal is not valid is because this volume oscillator is sitting below this 0 line, so we skip this trade. Okay, so now we see if we had taken that trade right there, it could have resulted in a massive loss. Okay, I want to give you a couple more examples for short trades. So we see we had a new bearish signal from our QQE mod, our whole suite line is red and the price is sitting below it. But our volume indicator does not agree. We see the line is sitting on a 0, so we did not take this trade. So we've got another bearish signal, but the volume is still not there, so we skip this trade as well. Okay, so this is where we have a good sell signal. We see all our indicators agree and we have sufficient volume. So let's go ahead and take a short position. Okay, so we see this trade was successful, and this is why it's so important to stick to the rules and to not deviate from your strategy. Okay, so now you know exactly how to trade with this system, so let's go ahead and backtest it 100 times and wait for the results at the end of this video. Okay, so after backtesting the system for 100 times, we see the results are absolutely insane, just like I promised at the beginning of this video. Our win rate is 69%, which is crazy high for such a risk to reward ratio, and we also increased our account size by 310.94%. Our equity curve is also very consistent, and we didn't have any massive drawdowns. The profit factor is 3.34, and we had 9 consecutive wins against 2 consecutive losses. Okay, so we see in terms of win rate, this strategy is on the first place, so I highly recommend you go ahead and backtest it and forward tested it on different markets and different time frames as well. Okay traders, I hope you enjoy these awesome strategies I'm putting out for free, and if you could spend 2 seconds of your time and like this video, I would appreciate that a lot. Also, if you want to see more content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe to this channel.